Hello, I'm Dr. Daniel Farkas, and I'm here to talk to you today about a cancer-killing diet made simple and the lab values that you need to know now in order to best fight against cancer. Please subscribe and watch to the end to get to the special lab values we're going to cover that you need to know right now to best fight cancer. 41% or greater of men and women born today will be diagnosed with cancer at some time during their lifetime. This number can be expressed as 1 in 2 men and women will be diagnosed with cancer during their life. Cancer is still the leading cause of death from disease among United States children over 1 year of age, and this comes from the National Cancer Institute. So it's important. What do you need to know right now to fight cancer? And the answer that we're going to cover today is pretty simple. A couple things: what foods to eat and what lab values to look for on blood tests and specialty lab tests. Well, you got to know your enemy. We need to know who the bad guy is. Cancer, it is a viral infection of the body brought about due to immune system compromise. So it's a virus that sneaks its way around distracted and weakened immune systems, sets up shop, and seeks to turn the entire body into cancer. So what can kill a virus like cancer naturally? The answer is a powerful immune system. So, simple question, should we supercharge our immune system to prevent and fight off cancer? Absolutely, and we're going to talk about how to do that today with foods. So these are what I call the cancer-crushing foods. 1, anti-inflammatory foods, and 2, antioxidant-rich foods. So, anti-inflammatory foods. By definition, they're foods that lower inflammation. Now, inflammation, it's your friend. It's there to fight off foreign invaders and fix broken parts. But unfortunately, inflammation can cause long-term problems. Chronic inflammation causes weak and distracted immune system function. I'm not talking about when you sprain your ankle and your ankle swells up real big, or you get a burn, you burn your finger. We see acute inflammation at work. It's there to help you. But chronic, long-term inflammation causes the weak and distracted immune system that could make you susceptible to cancer. So we want anti-inflammatory foods, foods that lower inflammation. These would be foods that are high in omega-3 fatty acids. Pretty simple. High omega-3 fatty acids equals low inflammation. That's all you got to know. A great source of this is wild-caught non-predatory fish like sardines. Big giant fish like tuna, swordfish, and shark. Those large fish, they eat lots of small fish that have little tiny amounts of mercury in them. And over time, they can accumulate and grow to have large amounts of mercury. And mercury, we're going to talk about here in just a moment, is really, really inflammatory and really toxic. So we want wild-caught non-predatory fish. You'll find this a lot in high-quality, clean-sourced fish oil. So predatory fish equal high mercury. Mercury equals inflammation. When you think about heavy metals like mercury, just think about sharp pieces of metal coursing through your arteries and moving through your whole body, just scratching and irritating things. They're bad. We got to get them out of there. Another super anti-inflammatory food, very high in omega-3s, are seeds, nuts, nut butters, and nut oils. They are omega-3 rich, but we want organic, non-pesticide, and non-roasted raw nuts, not roasted in bad oils that cause more inflammation. Almonds, cashews, walnuts, coconuts, pecans, and pistachios, these are all great sources of omega-3. So question, I mentioned about oils. Are oils good for fighting cancer? And the answer is definitely. Healthy natural oils are actually anti-inflammatory. Oils like extra virgin olive oil, that's organic coconut oil, and there's even avocado oil. There are a lot of healthy oils out there that actually lower inflammation. Now, I want to point out that the only oil that's actually safe to cook with at high temperatures is coconut oil. That's the only oil that it's safe to use where the pan starts to smoke. So if you make organic vegetable stir fry, which is really great, really healthy too as well, you want to make sure that you do that with coconut oil, not butter, not even extra virgin olive oil, just coconut oil. Now, furthermore, on the cancer-crushing foods, we talked about some anti-inflammatory foods, and now I want to talk about antioxidant-rich foods and how important they are. So oxidants or oxidative stress, this just simply equals toxic exhaust that your cells give off, and it equals a weakened immunity. Every cell in your body uses oxygen in order to make energy, just like a combustion engine, and it gives off some waste called oxidative waste. Just like how a car gives off toxic exhaust, your cells give off toxicity, and it must be eliminated. Otherwise, it builds up in the body, creates all types of problems. Remember, all cells produce oxidants, but these are trash that must be eliminated. So that's why cancer-crushing foods, the other category, are antioxidant-rich foods that destroy and remove oxidative stress. Now, a lot of people have heard of antioxidant foods like berries, blueberries, probably one of the most common like superfoods. Why? Because it's very powerful and high in antioxidants. Helps to get rid of oxidative stress and oxidative waste, and it empowers the immune system. Now, there are vegetables that we call antioxidant greens. These have cross-shaped leaves. You may have heard the word cruciferous vegetables, and all that means is cross-shaped leaves. Cauliflower, kale, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, these are packed with antioxidants. You have to have these in your diet. And you have to have lots of different variety, of course, too, as well. A couple examples of some antioxidant fruits are avocados. Avocados are fantastic for antioxidants, and they're also fantastic for being high on omega-3s. Citrus fruits like lemons and limes. And the big picture is colors, colors, and colors. Want big variety in our diet. Nature makes fruits and vegetables lots of different enticing colors to attract animals such as us in order to eat them. We want lots and lots of colors. Colors equals antioxidants. So to keep it simple, here's a hint. The Mediterranean diet. Simple as that, but hold the bread. There are some healthier sources of wheat. We want good, clean, non-GMO organic wheat, but I got to tell you, wheat and gluten, it disrupts the immune system. No living thing, no animal, no human being can digest it properly. Causes inflammation a lot of time. So my advice to you is Mediterranean diet, hold the bread. Now, we mentioned that we would be covering something extra, some lab tests that can show a cause for a weakened immune system. So it begs the question, can lab tests actually show a cause for a weak immune system? The answer, gratefully, is yes. Now, these are simple but special laboratory tests that are designed to determine the cause of inflammation, not to just measure how high it is, not to just measure the intensity of it and then prescribe something to artificially try to lower it. What we want to do is look for just the cause, and this is critical in working through the process of getting back to a low inflammation state, empowering the immune system, and fighting off cancer. So, I call this the cancer-crushing knowledge. These are the things that you need to know about. You need to have your personal information, just like this, in your back pocket so that it's your ally in helping fighting inflammation and empowering your immune system. These are things that cause inflammation you probably won't find in ordinary doctor's office tests. Number 1, heavy metals, cadmium, arsenic, lead, mercury. 2, food sensitivities, even from healthy foods. Number 3, the gut wall status. This is critical. The wall of your intestine, of your small intestine, is where things actually get absorbed into your body, directly into your bloodstream, that can cause inflammation. When that gut wall is intact and it's strong, it keeps bad things out. But when it gets breached, then bad things can get into the bloodstream, cause an inflammation, affecting the immune system, predisposing towards cancer. Stress hormones, like the stress hormone cortisol, that leads to not only belly fat, but massive systemic inflammation and fatigue of the immune system. And then, of course, there are baseline factors, which would be your ordinary lab values that we're going to cover too as well. You got to know all these stuff, and you have to have these answers in order. So, heavy metals, food sensitivities, breached gut, damaged gut wall, or what for slang they call leaky gut syndrome, stress hormones run wild, and out of control baseline factors all equal inflammation. And here's how it breaks down. Number 1, heavy metals, cadmium, arsenic, lead, aluminum, mercury, all of these things, just imagine, like I said before, sharp, just scratchy, jagged metals cruising through your body, being in your tissues, just causing chronic inflammation. Just imagine how that would distract the immune system. You got to get them out of there, but first you got to test and figure out exactly what you have, how bad it is, and what you need to do to get rid of it. So here's a sample of a heavy metals test. You're not going to find this, like I say, typically in ordinary doctor's offices. And we're going to have some information below if you want to get some info on how to get tested. It'll be down in the description or below. Next, food sensitivities. These come from eating the same foods over and over again, having a damaged, leaky gut that allows nonsense to leak in your bloodstream, and chronic stress, pregnancy, you name it. All of these things, especially the food sensitivities, they all add up to create a state of low-grade chronic inflammation. But the food sensitivities is the thing we're probably exposed to so consistently. These are healthy foods. It can be kale, tuna, turkey, almonds, coconut, blueberries, things like dairy, eggs, cheese. These things cause a low chronic level of inflammation, terrorizes the immune system, and it's so hard to guess about what you have. So here's a sample of a specialty blood test. It's very simple, that determines what foods we're sensitive to. Now, in red, we see these healthy foods that are actually causing inflammation. These are not allergies. Some people are allergic to strawberries, for example, and they eat a strawberry and they turn red immediately and they have a reaction, called anaphylaxis. This is not that. These are sensitivities that go up and down regularly over the course of your life, and you need to know what these are. Next, super important, the gut wall status. Damaged intestinal walls cause leaky gut, and they cause an invasion of things that can create inflammation. And here's a really specialty test. It's fun to share these things because the future is here right now. Genetics is everything. And what we're able to do now is use genetics in order to test for genetic evidence of all the good and bad things that should or should not be in your gut. And we're able to completely confirm whether or not you actually have leaky gut. It's pretty simple and it works well. Next, stress hormones, big problem. This is a stressful, overstimulated, hyperstimulated world. Mental stress, poor blood sugar, and high cortisol causes hormones to run wild, leading to whole body systemic inflammation, meaning weak immune system and a predisposition towards cancer formulating or growing or returning. Here's an example of a specialty saliva test demonstrating imbalanced cortisol, which can equal inflammation. And then finally, there are some simple baseline factors like homocysteine, C-reactive protein, vitamin D, insulin, ferritin, and on and on and on. These are just baseline tests for inflammation that can be found at ordinary labs. But when they're ordered in the right combination, it can really give you some great information about the big picture of how inflamed you are. And then these are the markers that we can check periodically in order to see if the inflammation reduction strategy is being effective. Well, I'm really glad that you stayed to the end so we could go over these. Thank you for watching this video to the end to learn about the special lab values that can really help you in your fight against cancer. If you also would like to find information about where you can obtain these special labs anywhere in the world, please look below. And finally, if you found this information valuable, please click like and feel free to subscribe in order to receive up-to-date health information and breaking news.